Hey guys, this is just a little insight into C64 and also some of the graphics workflow that I use for making Commodore stuff. I'll just put my pretty face somewhere so you can see me. Right, that should do it. So this is the page for it, and the recent update is that you can export the composite area. I've just been fixing a bug with it, so it took a while to get this back up, but now it should be good. You can just go straight to the downloads, and there's a demo file there. I don't know if it will still run, but you can check that out. So we'll just get that and extract it to here, and I'm going to copy it into my tools. Okay, I guess that's a build. Yep. And then just do run anyway. Don't think there's any issues with it. Your antivirus will probably scan it anyway, but it should be fine. So I'm just going to check it for the bug that I found yesterday. It's fixed. It was just when you cleared a sprite and it was on a layer above, it would crash, but it was good. So how to use this? It's still a bit in beta, so let me just move me because I'm hiding some instructions here. I'm just going to make it full screen. If you can press F11 and F. I probably took it out actually because it was messing with the memory. Let's just do that. Right, so you get 64 sprites in a file. It's enough to see it and be organized. I could do more in a sequel, but this was just the right amount of memory to manage. These are your two constant colors, so you should keep these pretty consistent for our project, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to make up a barbarian dude like the one I had before. So what I'm going to do is do the high-res version here. So I'm going to choose the unique color as black, and you can see it's in layer 1 here, but it's on the base layer here, just so I can see. The composite area is just where you lay stuff out. So for example, if I do a little do it like that. Alright, I'll just do something a bit rubbishy to begin with. Right, so let's just say that is my little dude there. Right, and then I'm going to choose this sprite. I'll just put some pink in here just for the face, and then if I'm on layer 0, a shift and click to place. You can click without shift to oh, okay, I guess I undid that then. Anyway, so you place with clicking and alt click to get. Right, so you alt click to get, alt left click to select and work in that sprite, yeah, left click to place and right click to move. Right, I obviously changed this from the previous version where you have to shift click. It just makes sense just to do it that way. So ID 1, so sprite 1 is on the base layer, it's the base layer, then layer 1 has ID 0. So you can start to kind of color this dude in, little shading there. Right, and then do the body like that. And I'll be right back 1 second. Right, sorry about that, there's a bit of chaos in the house. moving and stuff. Right. So yeah, that's kind of would give you 2 sprites, right? But I need my character to be bigger. So let's say get some shorts on. Right, move that up. You can press tab to hide the UI, so I often just do that. And let's say he had some grey shorts, but then I don't have enough space for his feet. So what you would then do is I'm just going to move him down so I've got a bit of room if I need them to jump or something, or anything else I need to think about the room that I might need. So I'll put that there, and then I'll change this one to high res, change colour to black, click it there, and then I can carry on doing his little legs there, little feet. Right, doesn't have to look perfect just yet. Usually it takes a few times to get the sprite right, so you can be a non-artist and still do something fairly decent if you just keep at it. So let's now go, press W to go up a layer, so it's W and S will go up and down your layers. So, and then click that one down, and then S, click that one there, and we can carry on with that. Right, so that's now using 4 sprites. Now I want to do it a different way. I'm going to right click to get rid of this, and I'll just clear this sprite, and I'm going to hover over, so you need to be on the layer, so layer 0, right, it's this sprite sitting here, so if I press Shift and Y, it's going to Y expand it, right, and then I can I'll just clear it and just start painting again. But you can see now the pixels are chunky square pixels, but that's enough resolution to colour in with. I just need to stay within, see there's a little chip in the shoulder, so what I would do then is just cover it like that. Right, and then choose my unique colour, let's go dark grey. So I'm limited to the 3 colours for this, and also the resolution is quite limited. So if I do that there, it means I need to modify the design. So it becomes a bit of a challenge to get what you want, right? But I like a challenge. I like to, use limitations. It helps to get some ideas. So there we go, and maybe even let's just make it so he's wearing like boots, fluffy boot things. Right, he's like a poodle boots. So it always leaks out a bit, but that's fine. It kind of acts like a little bit of anti-lacing. Now, the only thing is if the background is black, like so, you don't see anything anyway. But even with the darkest colours, everything's fine. Right. So, yeah, let's just change this to a colour that makes sense. What was it on? Forget what it was on now. Is it brown? I'll leave it on that one. Yeah, I think it was that colour. So, so yeah, let's do a little bit of shadow, stuff like that. You can see I'm kind of limited to where I can place all this stuff. But there's a dude. Now I can modify the design now and think about, well, let's try some stuff that works. I'm not going to commit to animating right away. Let's give him a little kilt like that. right? And then maybe his little pink leg there, a little. You can see the little cursor as well. It's really handy that I can see exactly where it sort of should be. Oh, I've just noticed it's sitting behind that layer. I need to change the order of the code so it's above it, but you get the idea. So a little bit there. Now he's got a little skirt on. I'm going to change that as well. So at this stage I'm just trying to get a look that works. I don't have any particular story or anything in mind for why he looks this way. Yeah, I'm getting some ideas now. I'm going to do it as a little torn bit of clothes, so we see his thighs or whatever. Okay, so now I can change a few bits here. You see they've gone a bit too high up there. Right, and just need that to go a bit more that way. Right, now I think these don't look very good. Don't really need the grey there. I can keep it if I want to have a little bit of anti-aliasing, I suppose. It sort of helps create a bit of shape. Right, doesn't look very muscly, so let's sort of make him a bit more muscly. Just changing the eye positions changes a lot. Let's put these doing a bit like that. Take that bit there. Right, so let's just say I'm happy with that. Let's give him a bit of a buckle or something here. Let's just say I'm happy with that. So then I want to animate them. Now you can use A and D to go to each frame. So this duplicates to the next frame. Right, so I'll get 0 and 1 being the same. And now I'll just copy, Control C, Control V, these over. Right, and on frame 1, and just start to replace these again. I'll use Tab just to see. So let's change to 2, 10, do the same here, layer 1, that's 2, 10, and we get ID 3, so go down the layer and click that. It should already use the Y expansion, so Shift and Y is already active because it remembered that from the copy. So now I've got this cell, so I always start with the high resolution one and then color it in after. So what I'll do, I'm kind of doing a little squat, super easy. You can see already good little idle trick, but I'll also change the legs a bit. So let's just make them go a bit kind of wider, make them go down a bit. Right. And then all I need to do now is just kind of edit this. See if I can fix the face there. Body. Let's colour it in really. Obviously it doesn't really make total sense in every place, but that's part of the limitation. Like the pink I can't reach there because of he's not moving enough, and also it's kind of bleeding out the edge there. So that's when you have to, like, you're forced to make other changes. A little bit there of the hand, and maybe I don't want it to show at the shoulder there. So you see I've got that black bit, so I would bring that in there, but maybe since I put it there, I'll put it here as well, and then modify the design just so it's consistent. Right, and then these little things, they become part of it. So I'm just going to do a little body strap like that, and that's kind of like haphazard, right? Happy accidents or whatever. Let's just add a bit there like that, and yeah, it's not too bad. Not sure about this coming out there, but let's also just lift the hand up, put it there. And I just want to kind of see this hand here. See, it's very limited where I can actually draw without breaking it, so I need to be mindful of that. Just notice it's not updated. Oh, it's the wrong one. Because I changed that. I thought I was changing the first one. Right. Okay. So then let's say I wanted him to have a little weapon. An axe or something. It looks like he's maybe holding it across the way, so you can imagine it being held, like we see a bit of the bar and then the head there. So I'll go ahead and make a high resolution yellow. I'll do this as a layer 2, and I'll just put it there and there. Right, you don't see it yet because there's no pixels in there, but I can do something like this. Oh, now I've run out of space here, so what I'll do is I'll just move it up and make like that, and then whilst I'm on the same layer as the sprite, so layer 2 ID 9, I can use control and arrow keys to move it into place. So obviously if you're making an actual Commodore game, you would have to do that by code, right? You'd have to know the offset. Here it actually tells you on the right, it tells you how much it's been offset. So layer 2 is offset by X by 26 and Y by 7, is that right? So it should be ID 0. Oh, okay. Layer 2. So yeah, layer 2 is offset 2 to the right and 7. So you can see if you go left, it becomes negative. So you can take note of these, but they also get exported when you save the file. It tells you all the offsets, but it's just data really. It's hard to tell what's what. You'd better just to using these and taking note of these things. It's a bit of a bug there as well, because I've seen that one was overlapping the other. That seems to be alright. Right, okay, so that's that. So I need to put this in. If I want to make a copy of it, like let's say I wanted to make it a bit different, sort of slightly rotating. So I'm just going to try and imagine how that might look, something like that. Right? Don't criticize my pixel skills; they're not the best at times. We'll see how it looks after. So, yeah. So this one, layer 2, click that there, and then Control and move it to position. Is that right? And then this one as well, just to show the let's put that. Let's move that one down. It doesn't look quite right. Let's move it up like that. I'll probably just keep that but looking the same. So 2, 4, 5, Yeah, it looks weird. More or less the same sprite now, just a very little difference in it. I would just use the same one, so I'll just clear that one. I think one's all it needs to clear. Right. Right, and this one I'll shift it down. There's no any point to me working with this one on the left, so I'm just going to clear all the sprites. Right, so then I've got this little dude. Now let's say I wanted to save this out as an image so that I can work on it in a different way. So what I want to do with this game, this Age of Fighters game, is make all the graphics Commodore compatible and then export the images so that I can just make a prototype up in Game Maker so that I know exactly how the code should work, and then do like a port bit by bit to C64 so that there's 2 versions, and then obviously that then gives more compatibility and less emulation, but it's also cool to have like the actual Commodore version. So there's one little barbarian dude animated, just doing a little idle animation. Maybe I want to give him a little drop shadow, right? Little shadow like that. Could be kind of cool. Right, so I'll just try and copy that. Yep. Don't know if it makes much sense to do that with the shadow, but anyway, let's do a little bit for the axe. So that would be his little shadow. So we can imagine the light is sort of behind him. Surely it would be in more shade, but it doesn't matter. We can always change these colors, right, and get different looks quite quickly for the characters. That's kind of a good way of simulating different lighting conditions. So in a level it might be like he might look blue because of the ambient light or whatever. I mean, you get away with keeping the colours pretty consistent with these anyway. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you that's why why I do that. And obviously if you have any different choices for the clothes, like could be red, and you could customize your guy. Then you can choose the main sprite color and change your axe color as well. If I do that, it's going to disappear, but I might want a white. I quite like yellow, but this is also good, but you see it fades away with that background. So yellow seems to work. So I'm just going to save this. Don't actually have a folder for this yet, so let's make up one. And Age of Fighters, I guess is what we're calling it. Sprites. Oops. And then spread 64, and I'll call this MC Age of 1. MC? Why am I calling it MC? What we call it? Oh well, sprites Age of 1, spread 64, and then if I press E, oh no. Alright, that's fine. This often happens when I might have to check the code, but it happens when you click full screen. Now there's a lot of autosave stuff in here as well. It's saving them all in here. So if you lose your file, you can just do open and inside, I guess, the main folder, you've got all these autosaves, and you can check the time, right? And it says 17 clicks, save 47. So you load that and you can get your file back if you lose anything, right? Everything's there. So let's just press E. This time it's fine. It happens when you, I think I mentioned it at the start, the memory gets messed up if you try and go full screen during a game. It's something to do with the surfaces that it caches. They get lost. So yeah, it just happens. It's a game maker thing. So I try to avoid using surfaces, but it's not easy. So I'm starting to use different methods now. So where was that? Age of Fighters sprites. Call it exported, and it says comp export 21st to 4:10. So that's the time. I think 24th, the hour, the minutes, and the seconds. That's kind of how it timestamps it there. And then frame ID, FID frame 0. Right, so save that and then go to the next frame and press E, and then you can just save that. And what that will give you, that looked a bit odd actually. Let me just check to see what it's done. Maybe it's not perfect, but I need to check. Open from computer. Yeah, what's that junk that it's added there? There's apparently some sprite data there. I don't know. What? It's like the two axes. Oh, the axes are way down there. Why are they way down there? So I'm probably not calculating the offset positions right, but it looks like the axis in the wrong place. Also, it's not loaded from the autosave. It's the old sprite color, but you can see it's not put the axis in the right place. check the levels there. Right. Okay. Sorry if there's a double echo or something. Might be alright. So now we're going to go to the etch page and update it. Oops. Okay, so right, edit that. 8 downloads, nice. So I'll just do uploads to the same file name. 1020. And that's now updated. And I'll just do hotfix. Uh, 10:20 PM. And there we go. So that is that. I want to show you the other thing that I use now. I use McDraw for my backdrops. For some reason it's not loading in Chrome. It's a thing that's been what's this I've been searching for? Okay. Right. So yeah, with this, a similar idea. I just tend to sort of make stuff up and then see how I feel about what I'm making, and then decide, you know, what I'm trying to make or whatever. So I'll just do some random lines and stuff. So what normally, the way I like to work is very loosely to begin with, and then come back to stuff later. Although I'm inclined to show work to people, even if it's unfinished. Since I'm being a bit more serious about making decent looking games, I'm spending a bit more time on these bitmap scenes. So I'm kind of making a little Colosseum type of fighting area. Right, so let's just say that spot I want there, right? And what I'll do now is like export the image. Doesn't really matter what I call it. And then I use my other tool called Backdrop Designer just to check things out. So I can import the download desktop. Where is it? Okay, and then I'll paste that in, and then I'll import my sprite. Yeah, I need to edit that. Where is it? So open. Okay, these ones were broken. So it's just this one, and I've left the background in, so I'll just remove that, and then I'll just choose a bit, trim, crop, right, and then export as PNG, AOF1, Age of Fighters 1. Okay, so that's downloaded, and then I'll add that in like so. Now he's tiny because the ratio is, I think, 5. So you hold down Control and you scroll up, so it's 6 is the ratio. Yeah. I'm going to switch to the Commodore 320 by 200, turn down the dither, and override the palette so we get the Commodore palette. That's basically the setup there that I use. And now I can test how he would look in the scene. Press X to sort of flip him, or whatever. And it just helps me determine scale, like, you know, it's way too big back there. What's the ideal position for these guys? What feels right? You know, I roughly know that there would be good. And I can test it with like CRT effect over it. Capture the image, paste that down in a new layer, turn off the pixel mode, and with that layer selected, well, the last thing I pasted down was that, do auto update and do a little blur, and I get a kind of estimate of how it might look in a emulated CRT sort of style. It's not perfect, but it gives you the idea. Alright, and yeah, I would just kind of like do more of that sort of thing, decide, you know, what else could work. So like, you know, I can do a little self-critique, and you know, wouldn't it be nice if there was a kind of thing here, like a gate, you know, where the lions maybe come out. If you lose, they come and maul you or something. You could have a little, you know, little thumbs down guy. I don't know. Some nice clouds here, or you know, fluffy clouds. Maybe a mixture. Occasional little birdie flying past. Yeah, some other areas. We could have when the fighters come out, we could have them like a smaller version of them, and as they sort of get closer, maybe a intermediate size, and then their full size. So we could kind of when they're ready to fight. It could be a little speech bubble, kind of like, you know, fight. So there you go. Obviously we could have a little health bars, score, whatever. some sort of nice like UI design. And that way I could probably crop off bottom of the screen, and I might even crop off top, because I like to create a kind of widescreen feeling. So I could take like all that area. What's it doing? Okay, so I could take all that area and just bring it down. Let's put the grid back on, see where I'm at. So considering I'm gonna lose 3 blocks at the top. 1, 2, 3. Right, so I'd lose the 3 up there. Gives it that widescreen feeling, and it means that I can use part of the screen for like sprites or UI or anything like that. It's just a style choice. I don't really have to do it, but the other good thing is turn this down a bit. And it's went on to something else. Let's play this. Right, so yeah, the other good thing is it limits the memory. Like I can use it for UI basically. Would be cool. So little health bars, and just start to mock things up bit by bit. Think about all the little features I'd want in there. Yeah, so stuff like that is how I tend to work, and then that's once this is like looking prettier, I would put it all back into backdrop design and sort of showcase it that way. You know how it could look. Or you can also do it here, like you can showcase the bitmaps and preview in Vice. And it's like actually emulated the scene. You don't get the sprites in here, but it gives you a better idea. And so yeah, I would just work on that till it gets to a good enough point. And then just keep adding stuff and change my mind about story and things and everything else. But yeah, that looks pretty cool. So that could be one of the scenarios. The idea with the Age of Fighters game is that we show these different. Let me just turn that down a bit. We show these different fighting scenarios, like all the kind of pits and so barbarian inspired. It will be that if we win, then we can walk off through like this door on the right. So we come in through the left. Right, that's the idea. We come into the scene, we fight, we make our way out of the scene one way or another. We're kind of done with it, you know, gladiator style in this case. So we could be fighting gladiators, we could be fighting an animal, there could be several rounds in this scene. A bit like Exploding Fist or IK+, yeah, with the background would change depending on the, you know, level or whatever. So yeah, this is where I'm at with it. Again, this is just very rough and just get some ideas out. But it would be cool to have the lines come in, like this could all be driven by sprites. We would make the game playable on PC to begin with, so like it happens sometimes. I would make the game playable on PC. So to begin with, I would make it using Game Maker. That's why I need to export the PNG. Like, you can export the image as PNG here, so I can use that, and also the sprites and stuff, export them as PNG. And yeah, so I can use my sprite tool to make the sprites with all the different overlays, and it means it's all kind of pretty ready to go. If it was to be ported to an actual Commodore, we've got the actual sprite data, and we have like the bitmap data, the KLA there, or PRG if you want to run it on its own. So yeah, that's gonna be how that works. Now I've started to learn Goat Tracker, because I just want to try my hand at sound. I do like doing music stuff now and again. I know it's very time consuming, but yeah, that's something else. I could let you hear what I've done if you bear with me. Let me just turn that off. I only just started this morning, like getting used to Goat Tracker. Where is it now? Right, so there's the Goat Tracker. And load is F10, I think. Yeah. Downloads. Okay, here we go. You get the idea. I've not done very much, that's why I was mucking about with the other bits there. Yeah, not too bad. I think it needs a bit more punchy drums and bass lines, but I've let other guys kind of look at it from Mega Style to see if they want to do it into it, and I can learn some things. I've just gradually learned how to do this wave table and the pulse table. I don't know any of the commands yet, or kind of get how the filtering works, but I've never used it. But yeah, it's a start. It sounds very Mac Gray-ish, which I'm quite happy with, but we'll see where I get with that. So yeah, going back to this, I would just be kind of exporting, testing stuff and whatnot. So let me just do an export PNG again here, just so you get to see that workflow one more time. So I'll go back into Backdrop Designer. I'll just press F6 to reset it. Import the this one, place it down, and then grab the sprite, downloads, scale them up 6 times, change the mode to 320 custom color, override the palette, take down the dither range, and then he's now, yeah, that looks better. That already looks more interesting. So he would kind of essentially be, let me just fake this. Obviously we can't scale like this on a Commodore, but this is a good way to tell how big he needs to be. So he can essentially be one sprite tall. Yeah, it could probably be one sprite tall, and then sort of just pop to his actual size. Switch that so we get the higher resolution mode as well, and then so little guy up here, a little graphic fight. Yeah. The good thing about if I did a PC version, obviously I can break all the limitations and have different modes, right, where it's based on Commodore 64. Like there'll be the Commodore version, which is short and sweet and limited, but then that bonus version. So I was thinking of making the PC version something you'd maybe pay for as a bonus thing, but the Commodore version be a free ROM. And then if people wanted a physical Commodore version further down the line, then that would be, obviously, you pay for that, but you can get the other things free with it. So yeah, let me know anyone thinks about that. So yeah, once you've done the image, you just do a full snapshot, which just captures everything it sees and turns it into a brush. Then I just go to any other layer, stamp it down, that's the stamp one down there, right? And then come out of the pixel mode. Sorry, change it to the first, which change it to again. I think you keep it on that CRT effect. Oh, sorry, you put the CRT effect on, capture it, paste that one down, come out of the mode, right? So now it's just high resolution, right, with the CRT effect on top, and then you can do an auto update. It will update the last sprite. Brush you put down. You can also do like color changes and stuff. Imagine you get like a washed out CRT TV, then it would kind of look like that. Right, and that's how you can get kind of stylized look to it, at least get an idea of how it might look on a monitor, roughly. It's not perfect, but there you go. That's kind of the whole process there. The actual sprites that come from a spread, it's going to be, yeah, it's missing now. So that's a build, extract that. Pin to taskbar. So let me just open right. So in terms of this, you've got your file, the actual sprite file for spread. Now you can open this up and it's readable in terms of you can kind of make sense of it. It's the spread version, it's a decimal format, the background color is 15, the global multicolor, so it tells you these in decimal format, the sprite ID, because it's starting to talk about the sprites. So ID 0 is high res 0, multicolor 1, so it's high res, and then this is the byte data, right? That's all the byte data there, so you can essentially copy that to whatever. The next sprite is ID 1. Is it high res 0 or multicolor 1? It's 1, so it's multicolor. The unique sprite color is 11. And I don't know the exact address terminology, like DO21 or DO whatever. I don't really bother with things like that, they're a wee bit beyond me. So anyway, there's all that sprite data, so there's 64 sprites. Then there's the compositor info, which is kind of this string based thing. So it's the I forget what the number on the left is, but that's the sprite ID up to 999, even though it only goes up to 64. And the layer information, there's some other characters that it will make. So there's a whole bunch of info per frame. It has to do a lot of information before it gets to the next frame. So there's the next frame there, layer 2, and then there's some offset data. Don't know if we'll see it. There we go. It tells you the offsets: X offset, Y offset, frame IDs. Right. It's all information that you can kind of read, but it's not really designed to be read by anything. So what I did do was, you can export a binary file with Alt and B. So if you do Alt B, what I then do is do a new folder called binary export, and I'll call this age or f 1 binary, and then I use sprite pad to read that in. So you can do import binary, and you can load that in, and then you just have to define the colors. So multicolor, sorry, you get fixed, but there you go. DO21 is your background, DO27 is your customizable one, so DO25 and DO26. So I'll do that and that. Is that right? I think. And then let me just check it against this. So yeah. The thing with this mode is, this tool is, you don't really have the compositor side, or at least I don't see it. You know, you can do has overlay, but the has overlay you have to do -1. Doesn't let you do minus. So it's a bit of a mess trying to get things to see how they could look. And I think you can use tiles or something. Tile set yes. And then you can kind of composite stuff this way. Has overlay, but it's just not quite the same. So I don't really use it for that, but what this is good for is exporting again to the format you need. So if you need it for like assembly or any other format, you can do that here. So sprite pad's its own thing, sold separately. That's not mine, but you can buy that from, I don't know if there's any info about it. You can buy that from Itch here. There we go, sprite pad. I recommend getting it, char pad and sprite pad. Yeah, get both of these because you save some money getting them together. And I think, don't quote me on it, but I think you can get this as part of a bundle. I don't know if it's mentioned where, but yeah, you can grab that as well. So basically what you're getting for free is quite a lot. Spread 64 is free. It's what you want to pay. So you can download and say, you know, just take me to the downloads, or you can donate some money, which helps pay for some groceries or whatever. You know, it buys me a bar of chocolate usually, but it's fine. If you don't want to part with money, that's fine. I don't mind. I made this just because I needed it to make, you know, all these sprites, and I enjoy making it. I enjoyed making it, I enjoy updating it, and I will hopefully keep improving it and then make a more cleaner next version. But I've got used to this. I have got used to it, and people do like it. And it just deals with the things that aren't in this one. But maybe this video will help inspire an update to this one as well. But that's really it. That's the whole process. So backdrop designer as well. That's also on itch. Hopefully it. I need to update the link, because I'll just show you where it is. So backdrop designer itch is here, right? And again, you can download it. Just take me to the downloads, and it does all sorts of pixel styles and things, and you can make an image and it'll, especially if you're into like any of the AI image stuff and you want something that'll look kind of pixely, I suppose you could use it like that. I'm not going to gatekeep AI stuff. It's entirely up to you and your use case, and if you're learning it and things like that. I don't really have an opinion about it. It's kind of inevitable that we use tools to help make stuff. Corner cutting, sure. Anyway, I'm not going to go full debate mode with that. It's up to you. So yeah, this is free as well. It's something I developed back in 2021 during COVID, and yeah, it's just a great bit of fun. You can load all sorts of images into it and convert them to different ratios and palettes, and yeah, muck about with it, and yeah, get different looks from it. And it's not perfect in the sense that it doesn't deal with limitations. It just makes it look like it could be for that particular machine, and then you can then run it through. So what I do is if I've done something like an image in here in this Commodore 64 style, I can then import it into Draw, and it will apply limitations. So for example, if I flood this little block here with too many colors, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, and then I export the image, downloads, and then I import it, what will happen is it will fix, see how it's just replaced this blue with grey, right? So that's me undoing it. You can see it just replaced the blue with grey. Just import it into here so you can see the difference. It's made the green the next closest brightest colour, right? So the green isn't as important. Whatever logic goes on in here is really nice. I like the logic behind it. So it always corrects these tiles in a really nice way. So anything that's flooded, like up here, if I put in this blue up here, like that, and I do export PNG, let's swap to that and do import, right? You see how it's decided, well, let's keep your dark blue and get rid of these two up here. Now logically, if that was my human brain, I would probably say, if you really want these, let's just make them a little bit lighter and use that colour, right? It does little changes, so you just have to be mindful of it, but it fixes the problem. And you also have this here to check, right? It tells you where there's errors, so you can then decide what's best. I really like it. So I'm thinking about making up a tool like this that not only shows you areas with too many colours, but I want it to sort of highlight areas where there could be more colour, like, you know, all of these would highlight green, for example, because they've only used one color, or even something that used two colors, or like some kind of like checkbox, show tiles with only one color, show tiles with only two colors, show tiles with only three colors, or tiles that are maxed out using the background plus three colors, and then show color clash tiles. And that way you could be selective about areas to like add a bit more detail. But you can do that just by looking, right? You can look at the actual tile and you can see, but it would take you a while to process the full image. So all these little tools, they all help. And yeah, I'll carry on making backgrounds for the Age of Fighters game is what I'm going to call it. And thanks for watching this video, I suppose, and I'll catch you when I've done a bit more. I'll post a Facebook post on this video and whatever else I'm making in the next few months or weeks. We're in the process of moving house, so it's a bit chaotic right now, so you can see some piles of stuff behind me that's got to get moved. And it's very echoey in this room because there used to be loads of retro things. But yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. I hope this was insightful, and yeah, let me know if you need any help with these tools, and if you're a musician or an artist or a coder for C64, get in touch. It would be great to get people involved that are of a certain standard and skill level. We've got big ambitions. Might not be paid work per se, but it will be something that could lead to paid games and get the scene back alive again. I love Commodore games, just that level of limitation that you have is just right, and always come back to it. So thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.